My name is Grace. Thank you for being here this morning. I just want to share just a bit of the reality of what abortion actually does, specifically the abortion pill. So I'll be sharing with you my testimony and my experience with that. Before I go into the reality and the gruesomeness about this, I will be explaining a bit in detail of what this is. Before I found myself with an unplanned pregnancy, I was involved in the church. I grew up in a good home, but I did find myself in an unhealthy relationship. And I just want to say that because it's really important that as young women and men that we are in a good relationship that is God honoring. So I found myself 5 years ago in an unhealthy relationship. I was in college, and I was pretty much just brainwashed, like many of the women, like the information that they're giving them right now in college, telling them that they won't be able to finish their career, that they, that they can't do both things, or that a baby is just going to be a disturbance in their life. And so instead of running to the church, I actually ran to the friends who I thought were friends, and they told me that abortion was my best option. Specifically, they told me, what would your mom think? What are you going to do at school? And so I was attending Nova Southeastern University. I was Googling online. I wasn't sure what to do. I was back and forth. The spiritual battle was very evident. I was crying every day, not sure what I was going to do. And convinced by others and what the media and all the information that we see out there, I was convinced that abortion was my only option. So I went to Planned Parenthood in Pembroke Pines, and when I went there, they told me that my blood pressure was too high and that I should come back. Around this time, I was 4 weeks, and so I did do that. I came back the following week, and the same thing happened to me. My blood pressure was too high. The doctor on that second visit specifically came up to me and he told me, why don't you come to my office in North Miami, so Planned Parenthood in North Miami. So that's what I did. And when I was there, they told me that, so when I went there, I was actually very nauseous, and of course I was nauseous, I was pregnant. And instead of telling me that's normal, what they did was just give me a pill for my nausea so I wouldn't throw up, the abortion pill. And so the abortion pill consists of 2 pills accompanied with pain medication and antibiotics. They give you a paper of what it looks like, what it does. And then they also give you a paper explaining how much you're supposed to be bleeding for the next couple weeks. It's supposed to be like a menstrual cycle, and that's how they explain it, that it's like a menstrual cycle. So I took the first pill at Planned Parenthood in North Miami in the doctor's office. I took it in front of him. He sent me away to go pick up some antibiotics, the second medication, and pain medication at Walgreens. So that's what I did. I took the second pill at home, and that night I was in excruciating pain. I was in and out of consciousness. Other circumstances where the relationship that I was in, all of those things, played a part in it. But really, I want to emphasize is that I really thought that what I was idolizing was my school, was my career, and I just want to tell the young women that if you do find yourself in an unplanned pregnancy, it's not the end of your life. You will never regret having a child, but you will regret having an abortion. And again, that night I was in and out of consciousness. I was bleeding, how they tell you you're supposed to be bleeding. And then the pain was excruciating again, and they tell you should be bleeding about 8 weeks or so. And then around like the 4th week, I just stopped bleeding, and I thought that was okay. And a couple of days later, all of a sudden, I was in the kitchen, and a heavy stream of blood just was rolling down my legs. And immediately I called the nurse that's assigned to you, but I've been told it's not really a nurse, it's just someone they assign to you. And she told me that it was fine, that I should just lay down. So that's what I did, but I kept bleeding. I filled up around 2-3 sanitary napkins in like 20 minutes. I knew something was wrong, so I had called my boyfriend's mom, and she took me to the hospital. And she took me to the hospital where my boyfriend's sister worked at as a nurse. So again, remember, this is not, the women who are coming into the abortion clinics, they don't want anyone to know. It's supposed to be a secret, you know? And so now this whole secret that I had, now everyone found out. And so when I was at the hospital, that's when the pain started. When I went into the emergency room, that's where I started bleeding really heavily. They put me on a wheelchair, and I left like a puddle of blood. And when I got there, the pain was excruciating. At that moment, they told me that what my body was doing was it rejected the pill, and it held on to my pregnancy this whole time. And so when I got there, that's when my body finally decided to let my child go. And so when I got there, they exposed my private areas. The doctor would have to put in his hand and continue to take out the rest of my pregnancy. And it was excruciatingly painful. I lost a lot of blood. My kidneys were shutting down. I needed multiple blood transfusions. And that's the reality of the abortion pill. So I understand that not many women will experience the same physical trauma that I went through, but the emotional trauma is real. And whether you had this physical experience or you didn't, the emotional trauma is the same. So again, I just want to share the reality of what the abortion pill does. And I was in the hospital for about a week after. I was on bed rest for about 3 months. And every Friday, I would have to go to the OBGYN, and he would have to continue to take out the rest of my pregnancy. And yep, so that's the reality of what happened. But immediately, Christ met me at the hospital bed. I knew he was still there with me. He spoke to me so clearly. And I just surrendered my life to him at that moment, and I allowed the Holy Spirit to work in me, and all the beautiful stuff that he's done in my life is just because I surrendered my life to him. And so I just want to share with you that there is hope. There is healing from Jesus Christ. If you are interested in volunteering or being a part of Restored Life, which is our ministry that does post-abortive healing for men, women, family members who have experienced that in their past. If you're interested in volunteering or just being a part of that, there is a table in front. Thank you so much.